A lot of us grew up learning there were 9 planets, and Pluto was that little icy runt at the very end of the line. But then, in 2006, everything changed. The rules got rewritten, and poor Pluto got kicked out of the Planet Club. Well, this is the story of why that happened, how we sent a probe on a 3 billion-mile journey to investigate this cosmic cold case, and why what we found was, well, it was way weirder and more wonderful than anyone ever dreamed.
So let's just get this out of the way right now. Our old picture of Pluto? It was completely, totally wrong. For decades, we all just kind of figured it was this boring, dead ice ball. But a really daring NASA mission flew by and discovered a vibrant, shockingly active world that's now one of the biggest, most fascinating mysteries in our entire solar system. So, okay, why the demotion? What really happened? It wasn't some big conspiracy or anything like that. The whole thing was really the end of a long cosmic detective story that started when we began finding a whole lot of other junk out in Pluto's neighborhood. See, in 2006, astronomers officially laid down 3 rules for what it takes to be a planet. Now, Pluto absolutely nails the first 2. It orbits the sun? Check. It's big enough to be a sphere? You bet. But it's that 3rd rule, the one about clearing the neighborhood. Yeah, that's where the whole case for planet Pluto just falls apart.
So what does clearing the orbit even mean? Well, think of it this way. A real planet has to be the gravitational boss of its path around the sun. It's got to be like a cosmic vacuum cleaner, either sucking up or flinging away any other big stuff that gets in its way. A planet is the undisputed king of its orbital zone.
And this right here is exactly why Pluto fails that test. It isn't cruising along an empty highway. Nope, it's stuck in the middle of a massive cosmic traffic jam called the Kuiper Belt. It's basically the solar system's junkyard, full of leftover icy junk. Pluto isn't the master out here. It's just another piece of debris, and it's not even the biggest one.
But, being weird can be a really good thing. So, to figure out just how weird Pluto really was, NASA launched its own detective on the case, a probe called New Horizons. Its mission was this epic 3 billion-mile journey to finally crack the mystery of Pluto.
Just think about the sheer patience this mission took. It launched in 2006, the very same year Pluto got demoted, which is kind of poetic. It blasted off on the most powerful rocket we had, used Jupiter's massive gravity for a slingshot maneuver to pick up speed, and then it just coasted for 8 more years, all the way to its target.
And to give you a sense of just how fast this thing was moving, New Horizons passed the moon's orbit in only 9 hours. That is about 10 times faster than the Apollo missions that actually carried astronauts. This thing left Earth in an incredible hurry. And yet, even at that unbelievable speed, it still took 9 long years to cross the solar system. I mean, that contrast really just hammers home how mind-bogglingly huge the distances are out there. So as New Horizons got closer and closer, it started picking up these fascinating clues that Pluto was a lot stranger than we ever imagined. And the first really big clue? Its bizarre relationship with its largest moon, Charon. Just look at this comparison. Our moon is a total lightweight compared to Earth, but Charon is a heavyweight. It's about 1/8 of Pluto's mass, and it orbits incredibly close. This creates this super rare thing called a double tidal lock, which means they are permanently frozen facing each other. It's less like a planet and its moon and more like this orbital wrestling match, where they're both spinning around a point in empty space that's actually between them. But that cosmic dance was just the beginning. As the probe finally arrived, the pictures and data it sent back didn't just change our view of Pluto, they completely shattered it. This wasn't a dead, icy rock, it was a shockingly active world. So what did it actually see? When New Horizons flew past, what secrets were hiding on the surface of this little demoted world? Oh, it saw a world of constant, beautiful change. A giant heart-shaped glacier the size of Texas, towering ice volcanoes taller than any mountains on Earth. It saw a thin but complex blue atmosphere, a surface painted with this vibrant palette of reds and whites. And maybe the most shocking thing of all, these vast, smooth plains with no impact craters, which means the surface is young and still geologically active today. But hang on a second. Think about the temperature here. It's minus 229 degrees Celsius. That is unbelievably cold. Water ice at that temperature is as hard and brittle as rock. It doesn't flow like a glacier. So what is going on?
And here is where it gets truly wild. Those vast plains and giant glaciers, they're not made of water. They're frozen nitrogen. And out there, in the near vacuum of space, when this nitrogen ice gets just a tiny bit of heat from deep inside Pluto, it doesn't melt. It sublimates. It goes straight from a solid to a gas. And that gas is what creates Pluto's thin, hazy atmosphere.
So what about those dramatic colors, those deep reds? They come from something called tholins. Basically, when the sun's radiation hits the methane gas in Pluto's atmosphere, it triggers a chemical reaction that creates these complex organic compounds. They clump together, turn this reddish color, and then just snow down onto the surface, staining the ice in these vast, dramatic regions.
But all these incredible discoveries, the active geology, that atmosphere, the ice volcanoes, they all point to one massive unsolved mystery that still has scientists totally stumped. And here it is. This is the big question. All of this activity requires energy. It requires heat. But a tiny, distant world like Pluto should have cooled down and frozen solid billions of years ago. So where in the world is all this heat coming from? Well, our best guess, funny enough, comes right back to its dance partner, Charon. The leading theory is that these two bodies actually slammed into each other a long, long time ago, and the immense energy from that collision, combined with the constant gravitational tug-of-war they've been in ever since, might just be enough to keep Pluto's insides from freezing completely solid.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really tantalizing thought. New Horizons proved that a world we all assumed was simple and dead is actually complex, active, and deeply mysterious. So if we were this wrong about Pluto, which is the brightest object we can see in the Kuiper Belt, what other incredible secrets are still hiding out there in the dark?